All right, what's up, everybody? We're here for another edition of the Offside Show. Um, Seth, how's it going?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm busy. Also on Twitter, interacting with the big news of the day, even though it's not pertaining to the Red Wings specifically, but Detroit sports. I won't mention the team by name though, but yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I feel you, Seth. Pistons talk, how's it going?
Pretty good. Ready to talk some Red Wings with you guys. Sorry I couldn't make it last week. It was really busy for me.
It's all good, man. We all got to do the stuff we got to do, but yeah, I'm excited to do this with y'all as well. All right, there's an article that came. We're gonna jump right into this whole thing. So there's an article that came out a couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago at this point, right, Seth?
Yeah, something like that. He was definitely still the Lightning GM if you're talking about the Yzerman one.
Yeah. So there's an article that was talking about how Steve Yzerman might be the best. The title of the article is "The Roots of Steve Yzerman's Success as GM Lie in His Questioning His Nature, a habit he's had since the early days of his career." So with the article is kind of saying he might be the best GM in the NHL. Like it wasn't entirely saying that, but it was just saying how knowledgeable he is and how curious he was and all that stuff, and how he always works to try to get everything and try to know everything he could about whatever he was trying to know. So I mean, you know what, Seth? Let's start with you. Is Steve Yzerman the best GM in the NHL, and what are your thoughts on that little article?
Well, if I'm to be objective, well, the fanboy in me would say absolutely. If I'm to be objective, I would say not, maybe not, the very best, but he would definitely be up there because there've also been there are also some very good ones out there, like Lou Lamoriello has a very impressive track record, but Eisman would definitely deserve to be in the discussion because as alluded to in the article, he studies every situation, he looks for the pros and cons for every situation. Every decision that he makes is a weighted one. You know, not every decision is going to be a good one, but every GM will mess up every once in a while, even the best ones. Dave Dombrowski, as the Tigers GM, had a mixed bag, but I think overall he made more good moves than bad moves, and that's the key. With Eisenman, he makes far more good moves than bad moves, and he doesn't make any risky moves if it doesn't warrant a high risk one. For now, with the Red Wings in the rebuilding mode, build through the draft and make some low risk, potentially high reward trades and free agent signings. If they don't pan out, fine. If they do, great. Like with Robbie Fabry,
Yeah,
how that paid off in the Perlini trade, not so much, but it didn't hurt the team,
yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. Do you have anything you want to add really quickly, Seth? Are you there?
No, no. Oh, I thought you were moving on to PD Sports. My bad. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was just gonna give my. Do you have anything you want to add really fast, or can I give
No.
my quick take on it? Okay, so here's what I guess my overall. I wrote some quotes that stood out to me in the article. Yzerman has never had trouble doing two things at once. Like he was talking about him, he's just sitting there chilling, doing his crossword puzzle while all these things are going around him, and then all of a sudden someone says something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what's going on." You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have a problem doing two things at once. And this is one of my favorite parts from the article. The bond struck by Campbell and Yzerman carried over when Campbell became an assistant coach with the team in 1985-86. The former could go to the latter with the coaching staff's concerns, while the players' collective voice funneled through Yzerman. The type of open dialogue is now a hallmark of Yzerman's regime in Tampa, where every voice is valued and considered. No, I really like the way that part was worded. But shout out to You Can Call Me Funk. What's up? You Can Call Me Funk. Thanks for tuning in with us. And yeah, this is a Red Wings show, so we're gonna talk about the Red Wings, of course. But yeah, Lions are free. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. You can call me Funk. No, but as far as that, I liked the way he said every voice is valued and considered. No, I remember watching a Greg Popovich coaching clinic, and he said you have to be comfortable in your own skin to know that an idea can come from anywhere. It can come from the camera guy. It can come from the freaking water boy. It can come from or it can come from the owner. Or it can come from everybody. And that's what I took away from that specific quote. But I mean, I think that Yzerman's doing that here with the Red Wings. Like, every voice is valued and considered. An idea can come from anywhere, and he's comfortable knowing that an idea can come from anywhere. And yeah, but as far as is he the best GM in the NHL? He has to win a Stanley Cup before I say he's the best GM in the NHL, or before I think about giving him that title. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's fair.
Like, whether we like it or not, like, I do agree. Like, I don't like to put wins and losses solely on one person. Like, whether it be the GM, the coach, a player, I don't like to put wins and losses on one person. But at the same time, wins and losses are part of how you are evaluated. And Yzerman's done a lot of winning as a GM, but he needs to achieve the ultimate goal before I can call him the best GM in the NHL. Pistons talk. So, what are your thoughts on the article, and is Steve Yzerman the best GM in the NHL?
I thought it was a pretty insightful article about Yzerman and just the way he approaches, everything, whether it's, getting talent or whatever. But I wouldn't call him a top 5 GM, or I would call him a top 5 GM, but I wouldn't call him the best GM in the NHL. You said I don't want to give him the best GM title until he won a Stanley Cup. Well, PD, he did win a Stanley Cup. He built that Tampa Bay Lightning team from the ground up. So I don't know if you want to take that with a grain of salt, but a lot of those players he drafted are from Steve Yzerman and his time in Tampa Bay. Just because he's in Detroit now doesn't mean he didn't build the team,
Okay, well, that's a fair point. I mean, in all honesty, like, I think the roster that Yzerman built is a little more different than the current roster than we might think. Like, I have to go back and look at it all, but
it's not much different. I mean, the core is still there. The core players that he drafted are still there.
Yeah,
that's what you have to look at. Now, I don't think he's the best GM in the NHL. Like Seth said, that would be really kind of drinking the Kool-Aid saying he's the best GM in the NHL. But I think he's top 5. He's shown that he knows how to draft players. He's shown that, he likes defensemen. He likes a defensive team. And I think with time, he can be the best GM in the NHL with the Detroit Red Wings.
Okay, I like that.
Go ahead. And he also likes skilled players that have a high hockey IQ, know how to play the game, and are versatile.
Yeah.
No, for sure. No, like, I can't kill you what you said, for instance. Like, that's a fair point. Like, he got the core for that for the Tampa Bay team that just won a Stanley Cup. So I mean, but yeah, I don't know if I can call him the best just yet. And I'm not like, I believe in Yzerman, but I don't have blind faith in Yzerman. Like, I want to see the whole thing play out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how you guys would you guys say you have blind faith or just regular faith?
Blind faith.
It's not blind faith, because I know I've seen his track record in Tampa Bay, so it's not blind faith. He has a track record.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's fair enough. But I'm different. I have regular faith. Like, things happen. Like, I don't know how y'all felt. Like Ken Holland people have mixed feelings about Ken Holland people have mixed feelings about Ken Holland at this point. He did some good things, believe it or not. He got into the Hall of Fame as a builder, so he definitely did some good things. He just couldn't maintain the consistency. So we'll see if Yzerman can consistently maintain consistency. But is there anything else you guys want to add on to this topic, or should we go ahead and go on?
Well, since you've consistently said consistent enough consistent times, let's move on.
All right. Let's talk about this topic. Detroit Jock City suggested that the Red Wings should trade Luke Glendening to the Islanders for Josh Bailey. Should the Red Wings make this move? Now, basically what the idea here with this article was that we're going to try to get, like, since the Islanders are in a bad cap situation, they have a lot of contracts and whatnot. Like, they have a lot of kind of higher end paid players. So the idea was make this trade and potentially try to get a draft pick out of it was the goal of this, was what the article was basically suggesting. So Pistons talk. What are your thoughts? Should the Red Wings go ahead and try to do this?
Probably not, because I feel like there's other teams out there that are over the cap that will have better offers than what Detroit Jack City did mention. Now, Josh Bailey is a nice player. He's obviously an upgrade over, who was it, Glendening?
Yeah, Glendening.
Glendening, yeah, obviously he's an upgrade over Glendening, but there are over 8 teams over the cap right now. And the Red Wings have over $9 million in cap space. So I could guarantee you that Steve will probably be on the phones in a couple days to, try to help teams. So like, hey, I'll take on, I don't know, let's say Tampa, for example. We'll take on Tyler Johnson if you give us a second round pick. There are going to be deals like that out there. And I think we can use our cap space wisely to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm mostly in agreement with you. Like, I don't think we need to take on that big of a contract right at this particular moment. I don't think we should take on that particular contract. But Seth, what are your thoughts? Should the Red Wings trade Luke Glendening to the Islanders for Josh Bailey?
Well, Bailey does seem like a nice player, for to stick on the second line, because I'm not really feeling too comfortable about whoever the Wings are, have penciled in for their second line center, unless they move Fabry there, like we talked about last week. But so Bailey would be a nice little pickup for that purpose. And as much as some people love Glendening, I'll admit I like offense, so Glendening's never really been one of my favorites. I mean, he's a nice little feel-good story from Michigan, played at U of M, made the NHL as an undrafted player. Nice little feel-good story, and sometimes, you need players like him on your team a lot of times. But I just, the way that some people are just enamored and in love with him, that's just never been me. But realistically, I don't see such a trade going on, because the Wings would have to give up so much more, especially if you want to get a draft pick out of it. You're talking giving up someone like a Larkin or Mantha or Bertuzzi, in my opinion, or a prospect like Sider, and there's no way that Yzerman's going to do that. So, no. A hard no.
Yeah, shout out to Devin99. Yeah, we all know the news. I'm sure it'll be talked much about on the roundtable on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that, I guess. Stay tuned for Tuesday. But what's up, Devin99? Thanks for coming in. No, but yeah, I don't necessarily. I mean, I think Josh Bailey is probably a better player than Luke Glendening. I don't think it's necessary to make this move at this particular point. Like, we have Josh Bailey for $5 million a year for 4 more years. I'm personally not loving that. And we trade Glendening. This is his last year of his contract. He's going to be making $1.5 million for this year. We compare the production of the two over the last 2 seasons. Glendening's at 138 games played, 16 goals, 16 assists, and 32 points. Josh Bailey, over the same 2 years, has had 150 games played, 30 goals, 69 assists, and 99 points. So, I mean, yeah, isn't it an upgrade? Yeah, it's an upgrade, but it's like, I don't love making this move at this particular time. Like, actually, I'll add this to you. Like, the article suggested we might be able to get a first. What if we were able to get a first out of making this trade?
Then you do it. Then you do it.
Yeah.
The Islanders are stupid if they do.
Oh, yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I don't think the Islanders are cap strapped, but I don't think they that we are going to get the only way I would do this trade is if we're going to get a first round pick out of it.
So once I learned that,
but I don't know if we're going to get a first round pick out of it. So
You're right.
that's what I said. You don't want my skin.
But do you guys anything else you guys want to add on this real fast, or are we good?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Piston Sock, you good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Let's talk about an interesting question. Who do you think the Kraken will take from the Red Wings? We'll start with you, Seth.
Well, we have a whole nother season of hockey to go before we even get to the expansion draft. So a lot can happen from now until then. So a lot can happen. There's your guess is as good as mine. If I was to think off the top of my head, who knows? If maybe someone like Perlini, if he's still on the team. I think Jonathan Erickson is gone, so he's out of the question. Who knows? I have no idea.
All right.
Like I said,
that's fair enough. Like, it's a tough call right now, so we'll have to see what happens. But Pistons talk. Who do you think the Kraken will take from the Red Wings?
Like off the top of my head, probably Giovanni Smith.
Giovanni Smith? Whoa. Something weird. Hold on one second. All right. Wait, so do you want to expand on that Pistons talk?
I feel like we have enough players in our system where he's he's like a grinder or a scrapper, but I feel like that's a player where Steve probably wouldn't even protect him. He would be happy if the Krakens would probably take a Giovanni Smith. Like, I'm not like really too high on him as a player, and I wouldn't really be too upset if they took him.
All right, fair enough. Oh no, I had a different little take on this one. I have a little bit of a different take. Honestly, of the players on our current roster, I don't think they take anybody from us, because like even if we go to so the rules we have to protect you can't expose a player if he hasn't played at least 40 games the prior season or 70 games in the last 2 seasons. So I don't even know if we would be able to expose a player like Zadina or something like that. I'm not saying we would expose him, but I guess I don't know if that's the best example. But my overall point is that there's certain players we can expose and there's certain players we can't expose. So we'll have to see how much certain players play next season. But I don't know if they would really want to take anybody from us, if I have to be honest. Or
they have to, though. That's the problem. They have to.
Are you sure they can't take they have to take one player from every single team? I'm not sure if that's the entire rules.
That's how they fill out the roster, you know.
All
but
right.
I don't know. I feel like even Cholowski might actually be a guy that they might want, because he's kind of I don't know. He had a couple bright spots, and then he just fell off a cliff last year. I don't know what the hell happened to him.
Yeah. No, has Cholowski even played enough games to be eligible for exposure? That's the other thing.
Well, he probably will this season, because the Krakens they're not coming until 2021, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so he'll probably make the team again, but I don't know. Honestly, we'll probably lose somebody that we probably don't really care about.
Yeah, that's what I'm good. Well, I mean, let's be honest. There's very few players on this team that we care about at this point. But yeah. Hey, Seth, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to add on this topic, or do you think we're good?
Yeah, well, Giovanni Smith, that's an intriguing option, and Cholowski too. Who knows? It might be Cholowski. Those are some options. Those guys. So yeah.
All right, for sure. Let's talk about this one. We're gonna go in a little bit of a different order. So NHL.com listed Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, Philip Zadina, Jonathan Bergeron, and Joseph Foligno as the top prospects for the Red Wings. Do you agree or disagree with the article and the way they Like they said, those are our top 5 prospects, pretty much.
So
Pistons talk. We'll start off with you.
let me just read it. Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider, Philip Zadina. Yeah, I'm not even going to disagree with that. That's probably your best prospects in your system right now. I really don't have anything to say. I think that's 100% accurate.
All right. Fair enough. Seth, what do you think about this? Do you agree or disagree with these top 5 prospects? Or is there anyone you would add? Anyone you would take out? Like, I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
Like what?
I generally agree. I don't really know a whole lot about Bergeron, but I would, I believe the rest of the list is pretty spot on. So he's probably spot on about they're probably spot on about Bergeron too. So nothing more for me to add, really.
Yeah, honestly, I guess the only thing I would say is just it's good. Like, I don't know about Zadina. Like, Zadina is a good prospect. He's a very talented player. He's a very good player. He's a very talented player. Does a lot of the right things. For whatever reason, he just hasn't been able to put it all together yet. But we'll see what happens. Like, I agree mostly with it, but we just need to see more of Zadina. I don't know what to make of the guy. Like, he really is like a very talented player. You just don't know what to do because, like, I just don't know what to make of him because he's so talented. You don't know what you're getting out of him in terms of consistency. But yeah. So does anyone else have? It doesn't sound like anyone else has anything to really add, really. So
No.
we're gonna go ahead and move on. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Detroit Free Press made an article predicting. I had a typo. So essentially, I'm gonna fix that real fast. But the Detroit Free Press made an article predicting who will be on the roster in the 2021-22 season. 2021-22. So, what were your thoughts on that article? I guess is the question. Seth, we'll start off with you. All right. We're gonna move on to Pistons talk really fast.
I thought the article was pretty accurate. I didn't really disagree with anything they had to say, honestly. Like, again, just like the NHL.com article. I don't really expect too much. The new guys that we brought in, like Nemestikov and Merrill, it's Stetcher. I think they're all going to be on the roster. I think we can all agree there. But everything they said, I would have to agree with.
All right. Seth, do we have you back yet?
Oh, so you're talking about for 21-22 season?
Yeah, I'm gonna even pull up the article really quickly for a little bit for y'all. But no, it was saying like Zadina should be on the roster by next year. This should be on the roster by next year, and this player will take 2 or 3 years, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess what were your thoughts on that article?
This may not be like such a great answer, but I guess from my time playing NHL 12 and NHL 15, I know better than to try to project 2-3 years into the future because you never know with prospects, how they're going to develop. Sometimes it may be sooner, sometimes it may be later. So I'm not even going to try to project that far into the future. Yeah, so count me out of that one.
All right, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, it was saying I mostly agree with it. Like, players like Seider should be here by next year. But even at the same time, I almost feel like I read that certain like Hronik, I think it said Hronik and Zadina will be recalled when the NHL signals teams can start preparing for the 2021 season. Since I assume because we're not going to be we're not going to start the season in 2020, so we're going to start in 2021. But there's a couple of players that we should see this year, but I guess I actually kind of agree with you. It's really hard to project in the future. Like, I think Seider will be here by next year. Honestly, I think he's shown that he's a little too good for some of these other leagues, and he needs a little more competition to push himself over the hump. But no, I kind of agree with you on that. Does anyone else have anything to add on this? Because I don't even know what else there is to say because it is hard to predict the future. All right. It sounds like we are good to go. I'm gonna shout out. You can call me Funk's comments really quickly. Goalies are the only players in any team sports that the record speaks to me. Well, I can agree with that, but and he also said Steve did build that team. Now, if he wins a few here, he might become the best. And yeah, I totally can agree with that. But this is going to be a fun topic. I can't wait to talk about this topic. But so the production line versus the Russian 5 in, say, a game to 7. Who wins? Pistons talk. We'll start off with you.
Okay, what rules are we playing? Are we playing modern rules like the Russian 5 played with, or the rules the production line played with?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? Here's how I'll answer your question. Answer in terms of both ways. Who would win with the with the 90s rules, and who would win with the 50s rules? There. That's how I'll let you answer the question.
Well, if we're playing 90s rules, then yeah, production line's gonna win. Freaking Gordie Howe would just be laying people out. Like, seriously? Like, yeah, they would win. I mean, it's one of the most productive. There's a reason why they're called the production line. I mean, they broke records that some first lines haven't even broken in the NHL. Obviously, I'm going to go with the production line.
All right. Seth, who wins between the production line and the Russian 5?
I'll probably have to go the other way with the Russian 5. Yes, the production line has the edge in terms of star power, but in terms of how the Russian 5 played as a 5-man unit with so much precision. Now, granted, someone like Howe or Lindsay could, rough them up, but they have Vladdy to answer that one. So it'd be really interesting to see. I would give the edge to the Russian 5 ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. So here's how the Russian 5 consists of here's the how I'm breaking it down. I'm rocking with the Russian 5 obviously consists of Larionov, Fedorov, Kozlov, Fetisov, and Konstantinov. The production line consists of I'm going to go with more of the second production line, but it consists of Howe, Lindsay, Delvecchio, Kelly, and Pronovost. So the Russian 5, between these lines, the Russian 5 has 1 Hart Trophy, 2 Selke trophies, 0 Norris trophies, 3 Hall of Famers, and we honestly would. If I have a question, I have a little question for y'all. Would y'all, if Konstantinov was able to stay healthy his entire career and didn't have a tragic accident, do you think he gets into the Hall of Fame?
Probably. I'm not sure. Honestly.
Seth, what do you think? If Konstantinov was able to play his entire career, do you think he would have ended his career as a Hall of Famer?
That's a really good question. Because, and I guess in terms of overall value, you definitely make the case. But, his detractors might, point out his offensive production not being like that of other elite defensemen. But, you never know. It's not always about points,
100. So what are you leaning towards then? It sounds like you're leaning towards no, is what I'm interpreting.
Not necessarily. You know what? I'm just not sure. He might be one of those guys that, would be up for debate every year, but, will probably eventually get in after a few tries. I think he probably makes it in.
All right, so we're gonna say, all right, so
but not the first try.
Yeah, for sure. No, I guess the reason I asked you is that so if we would say that Konstantinov would have been a Hall of Famer if he was able to play longer, that would give the Russian 5 4 Hall of Famers. Now, if we go to the production line, they got 5 Hall of Famers on that team. They got 6 Hart trophies, all of them going to Gordie Howe. And the Selke trophy did not exist at the time that the production line was playing. So I was generous and gave the production line 5 Selke trophies. In all honesty, I'm being generous. I think Howe would have probably won a lot more Selke trophies. I think Lindsay would have even won some Selke trophies, like getting the nickname Terrible Ted and stuff like that. And the production line was also a pretty good defensive team as well, also with Sawchuk and stuff. But and then the production line also has one Norris Trophy awarded to Red Kelly. So, man, it's an interesting question. Like, here's one thing I will say that works in the Russian Five's favor is that I don't know if the production line people ever were accustomed to seeing anything quite like Russian style of hockey at that time. So I think it would be they'd catch them by surprise a little bit. I think they'd adjust eventually, but I think that's one thing the Russian Five has going for them is that the production line had not seen such a style of hockey yet. Whereas the Russian Five, we've seen stuff like that before. Like, I don't know. But I guess, honestly, I'd probably give the edge to the production line just because they're the production line. They brought us 4 Stanley Cups, and they did all types of good stuff. They have one of the greatest players of all time in Gordie Howe. I mean, in all honesty, you can almost just even argue they have Gordie Howe, so they probably will win. But that's – go ahead, Seth.
And then to be fair, I'm going to double check just to be sure. But the guy that you didn't mention for the production line, Sid Abel, he did win. Yes, he did win the Hart Trophy in 1949.
Well,
So
I was
you
talking
add
about
him.
the second. I was rocking with the
Yeah.
second production line. I was answering
I'm
the
just saying
question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Seth.
I'm just saying, if you're to be fair, if you want to further stack it in favor of the production line, that'd be one more Hart Trophy if you wanted to go that way.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I guess the only problem, I was operating under the assumption that we're gonna play with the second production. I was using the second production line, so I guess that's why I didn't use Abel's Hart. But in all honesty, I don't know. It's kind of hard to argue against the production line. I know Konstantinov can kind of be an enforcer, but
So is Red Kelly.
yeah, exactly. Red Kelly, even Terrible Ted, but and stuff like that. So it's it's hard to argue against the production line. It really just is. Not that the Russian Five did great things for the city, great things for this franchise, but the production line will probably forever be the greatest line in the history of the Red Wings. There's a chance it'll get surpassed, but I doubt it. All right, that was a fun little topic. Does anyone have anything else they want to add onto this little topic or not really?
I know it's off
No.
topic, but I was actually reading a story. I don't know if you guys have seen it. They were talking about Vladimir Konstantinov and how he was actually he had a bounty on his head in Russia for, I don't know, doing some illegal stuff while he was over there. And the main reason why he stopped playing hockey is they were trying to say that he faked the whole injury. He's not really injured, is because that was a deal of the bounty of but the Soviets were trying to get it back over in Russia.
Is that a conspiracy theory or
No, it was an actual article. Someone tagged me in it a couple weeks ago, and I looked into it and it all checked out. He got in trouble with a lot of stuff over in Russia, and there was like I said, there was a bounty for his head basically for some stuff that I guess he did over there. I was just like, wow, I didn't know that. I would hate that. What's that?
Wow.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about is the part where he faked the injury to avoid having the bounty on his head a conspiracy? Or I believe he had a bounty on his head because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those Russian players should not have been here. I'm pretty sure even Fedorov was putting his life at risk at times, being over here. But no. So you're saying that the reason he had the injury is so they wouldn't put the bounty on his head, or at least they would take it off.
Yeah. So a lot of people have a conspiracy theory that he faked the injury so he wouldn't get killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
which
my
is
God.
Absolutely insane and crazy. I checked the articles and they were all in Russian, and I did Google to translate, and all checked out. I was like, holy crap. I did not know that.
Do we want to talk about this conspiracy theory for a
No,
second?
I don't want to
No.
talk about it.
No.
It's
I don't know,
bad.
this conspiracy theory sounds. I mean, I believe he had a bounty on his head that he faked the injury so he wouldn't have the bounty on his head. That just sounds weird as hell. But yeah, that's just weird. I'm sorry. I'm keep talking about. But but as far as production line versus Russian 5, does anyone else have anything they want to add onto this whole topic?
No, I'm good.
All right, so believe it or not, I'm out of topics for the day. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we before we end this? Is there any topic that I missed that you guys might want to discuss really fast?
I was about to say something, but I remember this is a Revenue show, not a Lions show. So, don't mind me.
All right, Pistons talk. Is there any? I know we're on the really short end of the show right now, but is there any topic you want to go over that I may have missed talking about for the rest of the show?
Not really that I could think of. The only news I really saw was it was a 4th round pick this year. I think his name was Sam Strange. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
I don't think I do.
Well, he's teared it up for Wisconsin hockey right now, so he's doing pretty well. But other than that, I really can't think of anything to talk about.
All right,
I think I read a little bit about him.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. Yeah, I guess we're gonna this is a really short show today, but we're out of stuff. We're out of stuff. Is pretty much all I can say. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and go on to final thoughts. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed. This is a shorter show today. Every time I say it's gonna be a shorter show, it ends up being a long show, and every time I expect it to be a long show, it ends up being a short show. It's weird how these shows work sometimes, but I guess this is one of those shows. But yeah, we're out of topics, so we're gonna go ahead and close the show out. Seth, what's your final thoughts for the day?
Well, thanks for having me. As always, good talking with you guys. And for all of our wonderful viewers, listeners, thanks for joining us. You can call me Funk Devin99 in the chat. And please appreciate the type of GM that Yzerman is. Transparent, calculating, transparent. I can't stress that enough. A lot more transparent than the guy that football team here just fired. Much more transparent than him. Yzerman said numerous times, be patient. So that's what we have to be, patient. It will pay off in the long run. The Red Wings will return to glory once again. So take solace in that. You heard it from me, Seth Walker.
All right, Pistons talk. What are your final thoughts for the day?
Short show, but it was a good show. I'm sure we'll have more topics to talk about within the next couple of months. Hopefully hockey does start in January, but I'm still skeptical about that. But good show all in all.
Now, speaking of hockey starting in January, guys, December is in 3 days. So there's.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why the NHL wanted to start on. I know why the NHL wanted to start on January 1st. They wanted to give themselves some leeway in case something went wrong, but something's already going wrong. So. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was going to happen, but now it's it almost feels impossible to make it happen. It feels like February at the absolute earliest, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it doesn't start until March at this rate. But we'll see what happens. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. But yeah, short show today, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, we will thank you again. Thanks everyone again for tuning in. And with that being said, we are out.